this year we thought it was important to go over the district norms and adult expectations for a couple of reasons. First, the district norms have evolved over the last 6 or 7 years, and we have something new this year, which came out of the Global Citizenship Committee, which is our adult expectations. So I wanted to get into those, give you an opportunity to see them, talk a little bit about how things have evolved, and also when we're talking to the expectations, the process that we use to create them. So with that said, so we always had four main categories for norms. We had participation, engagement, decision making, innovation, and new for this past year has been global citizenship. So there's been norms around that as well. And over the years, we've used a lot of research and readings to inform those norms and create them. So we began way back in 2013-14, I think, with Transforming School Culture, which is written by Dr. Anthony Muhammad. Garnet Valley was actually showcased in the new edition of that book. They did a video that went with it, and Garnet Valley was showcased in that. So we're very proud of that. We read The 5 Dysfunctions of a Teen by Patrick Lencioni. We all were entertained and intrigued by George Couros and the Innovator's Mindset. Many of us at this point, either through professional development or our own learning, have read or experienced at least a little bit of professional learning around Carol Dweck's growth mindset. Last year, and this book really resonated for me, I really enjoyed it and actually use it in a lot of professional things that I do, is The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. If you haven't read this book and you're a teacher, a coach, a facilitator, in whatever capacity, I think you'd really be interested in that. And then this year, as an instructional leadership team, we read Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. If you haven't read the book or you don't have time to read the book, I would simply go on Netflix. She has a great documentary there that really, I think, hits on all the major themes of Dare to Lead. So with that said, those were our four main categories of norms, and they will not change. They haven't changed, but what they did do was evolve. They used to be very text driven. There was a lot of support information, and we needed to do that because, as we saw through the LEA survey that we've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years, we needed to find ways so that our professional staff and support staff felt like they were involved in the decision-making process, that they had a voice, that ideas were socialized throughout the district, so that all of our stakeholders felt like they had a part and a say in how things were done here in Garnet Valley. So with that said, we evolved the norms to more simplified versions that we can use when we have those professional interactions in committee meetings, in brainstorming sessions where we're trying to solve problems, in faculty meetings, in professional development settings, wherever those professional interactions take place where we're doing district work. We hope that all of you, all of us, will employ these norms so that we have really, really good processes to do great things here in the district. So with that said, we have 4 norms. Participation and engagement norm is share and acknowledge perspective and truth. You hear me say a lot, speak your truth, share your perspective. It's not about the position. It's about the perspective and insight that you bring to the table and to the discussion. So that hasn't changed a whole lot. In terms of decision making, we also will continue to engage and believe in that collaborative process. But most importantly, that when we have these committee meetings, when we are involved collaboratively, that we're owning the outcomes, that we don't turn our back on the decision-making process that we were a part of, that we hash it out, even if there's some conflict that's involved in it, that we hash it out in the room so that when we leave the room or leave the discussion or leave the committee, we can own the decision that comes out of it. In terms of innovation, I think one of the things that is a hallmark of Garnet Valley right now is that we are a very innovative, progressive school district, And we have achieved that status because we're not scared to share our vulnerability, to say, hey, this is going to be new for me. This is risky for me. I don't feel necessarily comfortable. Can you help me? However, I'm always willing as an employee in the district to take a risk, to figure something out, to try to learn something new so that I can grow as a professional. So that hasn't changed. What is new and became new last year is our norm around global citizenship, where we will not accept anyone who is not interacting respectfully, empathetically, and inclusively. So those are the norms for how we're going to function in our work environments and as we work together as adults. So with that said, out of the Global Citizenship Committee, we talked about what those adult expectations would be throughout our school community so that we can realize the global citizenship vision. So we had a lot of people involved in this endeavor. The Global Citizenship Committee with about 43 to 44 people. We had a group during a choice day on an in-service day of about 20-some folks who really got together and looked at what other companies and organizations do, looked at what our vision was of global citizenship, and coalesced around some adult expectations that we hope every employee in the district will follow in their interactions with students, in their interactions with their colleagues and peers, and in their interactions with the entire school community. So with that said, there are these four broad categories: self-care, perspective, relationships, and resilience. In regard to self-care, the statement is simple: care for yourself so that you can care for others. And in each of the broad statements, there's some supporting information so that everybody has a context for what we mean. And in terms of self-care, we've done a lot of work around mindfulness in the district. We've, over the years, had plenty of professional development around self-care. And my friend and your friend, Pat Dunn, did a lot of that work and led a lot of that work, and I'm indebted to her for that. But really, the bottom line is we want to make sure that all of us as adults are caring for ourselves so that the very best of us is here for our students and for each other. Our next category is perspective. Mindfully consider perspectives in your interactions. So one of the elements of the Global Citizenship Committee is social and emotional wellness. And the main part of that element that's come out of it is trauma-informed care. And it's our goal to train every employee in the district in trauma-informed care. And really the bottom line with trauma-informed care is everybody's coming with something to our interactions, to our classrooms. And it's our job now to not only teach the content, but also understand how our students are accessing that content and some of the obstacles and barriers that get in the way of that access. And many times it's the trauma that we all bring and that our students bring to the classroom that gets in the way. And that trauma comes in many, many different forms, and it's all relative to the individual. It could be a domestic issue. It could be a death in the family. It could be any number of things that we experience that impact the way that we interact. And we're asking for folks to be mindful of that. Our other category is relationships. Build purposeful and authentic relationships throughout the school community. That's sort of wordy and obtuse, but I think more simply, especially as our classroom teachers, greet them, show you care, and learn something about them. And I said mostly for our classroom teachers, but that could be any professional or support staff in any endeavor that involves students or adults for that matter. So we want us out there being visible, being interactive, so that we can be proactive in our interactions, so that we can see a student who may need extra support. And really, ultimately, this is the number one way to keep our schools safe. If we're all a close-knit community, we'll know when someone's hurting. We'll know when someone needs support. So this is a really, really important one to the district and certainly to me. Another category is this aspect of resilience. And we talked about Carol Dweck's growth mindset and just coming at our profession, coming at our work through professional development, through instruction, that resiliency is a key component of learning, that there's going to be productive struggle, that there's going to be disequilibrium whenever we're learning something new or learning something difficult, and to embrace that. But that growth mindset needs to come from our adults, to show and talk about that we have productive struggle and that we have disequilibrium as we learn new things. And modeling that, I think, will help our students appreciate the fact that learning does require resilience, and they'll be more willing to take risks and grow as learners. Because ultimately, as we do these things, as we model these expectations, as we stay committed to behaving in this way with our students and with our entire school community, we'll realize that global citizenship vision. And I'm going to read it to you because I'm proud of the work that we've done. And I'm really, really inspired and excited to achieve this vision, because I think we can do it. And I think it'll really bring together that whole aspect of student achievement and safe and caring being one and the same. So the Garnet Valley School District prepares students for success in a rapidly changing global community through systemic educational opportunities that develop the understanding, appreciation, and competence to navigate the world around them. And most importantly, especially with these adult behaviors, our students, faculty, and staff consequently are respectful and empathetic and inclusive while advocating for themselves and others. So hopefully now you've understood how our norms have evolved, and you'll see those in those professional settings and committee meetings and professional development, but also help me model and perpetuate and spread those adult expectations so that we can realize this global citizenship vision. Thank you.